Hello everyone, my name is Reed and welcome to Storytime. Today we're going to be reading some malicious compliance stories, so sit back, relax, and enjoy. Friend's father got what he wanted. Backstory: very close female friend of mine had some issues with an abusive father her entire life. Nothing sexual or anything like that, mostly very horrible verbal abuse that on occasion turned physical. So knowing all about this, I already don't like this guy. After we finished school and she moved out, he developed a drinking habit, which also involved the bad friends that sometimes go with that. Doing coke at parties on the weekend, he quickly lost his career and burned through his savings, possessions, and most of his properties. Then he started dropping by her house to take things of value to go pawn off to satisfy his addiction. I'm talking cell phones, TVs, jewelry. She's terrified of him. Years of emotional abuse convinced her this is the least she could do as he spent money raising her. Long story short, one day we're all hanging out at her place, going over case files for consults, and in pops Daddy-O. Makes a scene and starts putting random things in his bag. We confronted him and this is what followed. Him: "Who the freak do you think you are to tell me what I am allowed to do with my property?" Not even his house. Me: "You really degraded into the toe fungus of the earth, robbing your daughter like this?" Yeah, toe fungus. I don't know, it just popped into my mind. The robbing part is actually what triggered him. He goes off beating on everyone, males and females. We might be doctors, but we're not opposed to creating a problem that we get to solve later on, so we ended up having a proper brawl. He slid out from between us like the little snake he is and ran off. Whilst making his way to the door, we shouted at him to drop the things he stole. "Well, freak all you idiots! Sue me!" So we did. Not in the exact definition of the word, but we did get the law involved. Called the cops and filed charges for breaking and entering, assault, theft, and the cops also added a couple of other things. He did not end up doing time, but he was forced to go to rehab. He's actually a pretty nice guy now. That ending took me off guard, but I guess people change. If you can't fix it, then don't bother participating. Okay, wait, no. So to set the scene, in some schools the PE classes have these things called heart monitors, which are strapped to the student and it ticks about collecting your heart rate, and depending on how far your heart rate goes, you get a good grade or a bad one. Unfortunately, I have an autoimmune disorder called Hashimoto's disease. Without going into technicalities, it causes my heart rate to differ from others and takes a lot to get it to go up. Basically, I couldn't rely on the heart monitors for grades as I would flunk. Now, when I had the first semester, I had managed to sail with a C by overworking myself, though I didn't want to do it the second semester. So we went to the PE teachers and explained the situation. They wouldn't do anything, and the principal said they'd have to adjust the heart monitor to my resting rate, which differs from the norm in order for me to actually get graded correctly. However, second semester came around and both PE teachers refused to adjust it. After 3 weeks of complaining, I finally had enough and approached the other teacher about this. He rolled his eyes the whole time I was talking and told me he was tired of me not participating like everyone else and that I was making my condition up and to suck it up. So I was furious. His next words were, "If you refuse to participate with everyone else, then don't bother dressing at all." Now what Mr. PE teacher did not know was I already had the correct accumulated credits and was 2 credits over, so I did not need PE to pass. My immediate thought was, okay, game on, fool. For the next 3 months, no matter what activity we were doing, I did not dress, I listened to music and walked the track every day. The only times I ever participated was when we went to the gym, fitness center, attached to the school and had a free day. He was livid and constantly got on me for not participating, but I was adamant that until they adjusted the heart monitor for me, I would not participate. To make a long story short, I did not dress for the entirety of the year and enjoyed every second of it. Didn't affect my GPA or academics in any way, shape, or form, as I technically didn't need the credit. And I ended up also getting the heart monitors removed from being part of the grade after a letter to the student board. Oh, and the teacher to this day swears up and down I was making my condition up. Anyways, it's not as sweet as some of the other stories on here, but it's a moment I will forever be proud of. First of all, I can't believe that they would factor in a heart monitor and how that works on you into your final grade. Second of all, I feel like you could bring in like some sort of doctor's note to prove this, and they wouldn't be allowed to do any of this crap at all. Try to be more like the other tellers. I worked as a bank teller. The other tellers were all female. Our sales and service manager expected us to greet customers warmly the second they entered, from across the bank. Hello there! Hi! Welcome to US Bank. It was even turned into a competition. When he heard/noticed tellers greeting customers, he gave them a point on his tally. My greeting strategy was to wait for initial eye contact after they entered the building and began approaching my window, then say hello in a friendly way and give a polite little head nod and smile. This was apparently unsatisfactory. I was talked to because I wasn't bubbly enough. It was pointed out to me how well the other tellers were greeting people walking in, how many points they all had accumulated, and I was told I needed to be more like my female coworkers. That sounded great, in theory, but I'm a 6'4", 290-pound male, and I knew it would be easy to show them the error of their ways. The next person entering the bank received a bellowing, sing-songy, "Hi there! Welcome to US Bank!" from 60 feet away with a dozen people in between. To say it startled the crap out of everyone in the bank would be an understatement. I was informed my polite hello and nod would be fine going forward. Take them down with their own words and then get what you were doing and what you wanted all along. Sure, whatever you say. This is an ongoing battle between me and my boss. I work in website management. I was hired by this company on salary to update, publish, and generally keep content flowing on their site. I show up at 9 a.m. and I can usually get my day-to-day work done fairly quickly, and I'm usually out of the door around 4:30. I don't normally take a lunch break because I'd rather just get my crap done and go home. My boss pulled me aside and told me, "We expect you to stay for the full 8 hours each day. That's what we are paying you for." So then went on to acknowledge that I don't take my lunch and my productivity is fine. She then said, "With your ADD, I don't know if you're even capable of doing 40 hours of work each week." So I used to come in and work from 9 to 4:30 without stopping. Aside from bathroom breaks and coffee top-ups, they were getting 7.5 hours of work out of me. Now, since I'm required to be there for my full 8 hours, I come in at 9 and I leave at 5. I take the entire hour of my lunch off, and if bothered, simply reply, "I'm on my lunch right now, come back at 1. That means I'm only working for 7 hours each day. Congratulations, Karen, not her real name. You just talked yourself out of an extra half hour a day of work from me. That's 2.5 hours of productivity a week you just screwed yourself out of." Well, with an idiotic manager like that, OP, I hope you're using that hour or lunch break to apply for new and better jobs. Good luck. She had to wait anyway. Backstory: I worked at a coffee stand inside of a grocery store, and I was allowed to ring up and void the products from the store. I only had 10 voids before I needed to call a manager so that they could use their key to unlock my register. This lady comes to my register and says that she's in a rush. She then places a plate of cookies down. When I scan the item, she says that they are too expensive and runs to get another plate, before I can tell her that I may be unable to void the first plate. When she comes back, I explain to her that if I ring up this plate that I may not be able to void the first plate without a manager key. Lady: "I'm in a rush. I just need to buy these cookies, but the first plate is too expensive." Me: "I know, but the front is busy. You'll have to wait for a manager to bring the key." I'm in a rush." Okay. I scan the second plate of cookies. They are a whole penny cheaper. Wow. So I tried to void the first plate, and you can guess what happened. I needed the manager's key. This lady made herself late over a whole penny. Me, grinning like a bandit. Unfortunately, I need a manager's key, and since the front is busy, you have to wait. I'm in a rush. Can't you void it? Me, still grinning. Nope, I have to wait. I am terribly sorry for the inconvenience. Eventually, a manager did come by and she got her cookies, but serves you right for not paying attention to prices before you buy them and acting like a penny is a true loss to your budget. And that, my friends, is how the cookie crumbles. A customer wanted me to give him his change in smaller bills, so I did. This happened a year or so ago. We had a senior discount day at the store and we were very short on small bills. Seniors here all pay with their pension money fresh from the ATM or the bank and don't carry any loose change, so those days are heck for us cashiers. You start the day with a certain amount of small bills in your register, but they quickly disappeared despite me asking everyone for $1, $2, or 50 cents, etc., so I could round up the receipt. I was not able to return change to people efficiently. I had to borrow money from other registers. Then comes this guy and buys something for, let's say, $2, different currency, but it doesn't matter, and pays with like a $5 bill. But then he asked me to split his $10 bill into a 5, a 2, a 2, and a 1. I think he wanted to give his kids lunch money for school or something. I felt bad, but I had to turn him down because I literally didn't have any small bills to work with, let alone give him. Usually this is not a problem for me, but this particular day I couldn't do it, even if I wanted to. So he gets angry with me, goes at the back of the line, and gets a newspaper. Now it's clear to me that he is going to pay with a $10 bill, so I go through all the registers and collect the coins I found. Once it's his turn, he puts the newspaper on the register all smug. I grab handfuls of coins from my register and start counting them for him. He is looking at me speechless, and once I was done counting his change, he just said, "Call me your manager." I said, "Of course," and called him. The manager apologized on my behalf and told me to return him the change properly, so I slowly went through all the registers again. As I said, I didn't have any money in my register, and gave him the bills he wanted. Didn't get into any trouble because technically I gave him the proper amount of change. If this is something that's happening often, then I feel like the managers should be making a change, pun, about how much money and like small bills are in the registers so that this problem could be avoided, but some people just don't get it. Alright, that's all the stories we have for today. If you liked what you heard, make sure to subscribe. Thanks so much for listening and have an amazing day. Bye.